And it says we're live. And I think we're live. What is up, everyone? It's just been one of those days. Whoop. There you go. All right. So I can hear myself on the stream. We are definitely live. Let me go ahead and show this out on Twitter and a couple other places. This ain't gonna be a normal stream that I usually do. Usually I saw the stream and I do some AI music. Well, actually, I talk a little bit about AI today. And this was kind of spot on by kind of a Twitter spat that happened. And it's actually been going on for like the last day, I believe.
Something like that.
Yeah, about the last day. And I don't know who that is in the Discord, but I'll deal with them later.
Okay, wait.
But anyways, we had a little Twitter spat. And I'll kind of break down a little bit of what happened. And I want to emphasize, I don't want this to be like an attack or dogpile on the guy. I want to take the points and the sources that was given and just kind of talk about them. So some links to some videos were given. Some links to some articles were given. We talked a little bit about fair use and all that good stuff about AI. In a day, this comes down to a kind of a legal issue. I really don't want to talk about semantics, and I really don't want to talk about morality of it, because that's a whole different conversation on itself. So, what's your guys' take so far?
I can get that in just a second. Pardon, I'm still handling.
That's fine.
My obligation to inform those 3 or so people on my Discord server who might want to be aware of this.
Cool.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
I've always sat in the lap of neutrality and legality, so I try to avoid any form of moral arguments or grandstanding, because that's just what it is: moral arguments and grandstanding.
So, and here's the example I want to give. I can give two examples for morality and legality. Morality: Kyle Rittenhouse killed 3 unarmed individuals. Legality: Kyle Rittenhouse defended himself from 3 violent individuals. The moral argument didn't work on that one, and neither should moral arguments be used for legal aspects, because that's what happens. And I can armchair lawyer all day long, but when it comes down to it, they're my opinions. It doesn't mean a court of law is going to rule in a favor I think the court is going to rule at. And that goes for anyone online. Even for lawyers, like we know of a son Nick Recator is now involved into a lawsuit.
Yeah, the troll bot that is Nick Recator, who's on a drunken bender who just doesn't know when to shut the hell up. I love you.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Recator somehow mired this whole AI squibble?
No. Well, not really. No, he put himself into a different squibble.
No. I'm talking about like legal and morality arguments. It's like the differences in them. That's all I'm talking about. And it's just an example. It's like even lawyers aren't immune from arguments like that. Nick thought he was in the right. He thought it was gonna be an easy one, and his case is going until sometime in 2025.
Yeah.
So because the judge shut down the motion to dismiss.
He's gonna. He has a long time with Montegraph, and I think Montegraph might actually be able to take him. But that'll be his first major win on Montegraph's end.
Yeah, and unfortunately, again, this is where it comes down to morality and legality. I don't like to argue morals, because morals have a tendency of not being correct at times.
Well, the thing is that morals mean a lot of things to a lot of people. And while I do believe there's a certain basic common ground on them, for a lot of people, morals boil down to, I don't like that, so it's evil. I do like that, so it can't do anything wrong.
Yeah. And the premise is that for AI, I can make an argument for and an argument against AI. And pretty much the same arguments that I've seen online. I'm going to argument down to more of a narrower point instead of just broadly saying all AI bad, because that's like the totally wrong thing to do. Because what AI are we talking about? Are we talking about an editor? Are we talking about an asset editor? Are we talking about AIs that edit images, that states they edit images and stuff like that? Are we talking about AI that actually takes thousands of images that have been gathered on public domain and compilates them together in a fashion to make something new? And and for that one, the argument is, how much human intervention is needed to how much human intervention is needed to deem a human made this or a human didn't make this? That is the question, and that's a question I can't answer. I can make arguments for it. I can make arguments against it. Arguments for it is a human has to tell the AI what to do. The arguments against
humans
it
were intrinsic to the creation of all the programming that went into it. Additionally, it is a project, a venture, a thing that could not possibly exist without humanity.
Yeah, and same thing is like it's. I'm still waiting for the computer to paint me the Picasso it promised, but it hasn't done it yet. So
no, you want the Sistine Chapel on your ceiling.
I mean, you're talking about morals. What is this George Clayton Parliament funk hip hop you're talking about? Morals. I mean, come on. What are those things?
Hey, Jim Max.
What's up, man?
Greetings, Jim Max. One of the main arguments against AI right now is that because some assets were used to train the AI that the trainers of the AI didn't expressly pay every single artist for, they stole the artwork, which of course no one can really see in the AI file unless they have really quite impressive programming and decompression chops. And of course, none of the outputs resemble any one of those images in any meaningful way. But because it's there at all, clearly it was theft. And therefore, anyone who uses the thing that possibly incorporates theft is also a super evil, naughty thief, bad man.
That's
basically that's how it's wrapped up in a tight little bow. It's almost like they don't fully understand what the steps are taken in order to create the algorithm for something like a art or an AI art generator system or program or whatever you want to call it.
Most certainly do not.
No.
Because that was made very clear repeatedly to me. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, you gotta look at this. The computer is translating an image on the screen. To us, it represents, something of art. So artwork. So I'm looking at the screen. I'm looking at art of myself, of Rogue, of Dragon. I see Arcator, and I see the Mishmash of stuff that Jim Max has made. The computer is translating that to me. What the computer actually has are lines of code, ones and zeros.
Not just that, but it's all. In order for it to get to that level, it diffuses everything, and then it just kind of takes a swab of different points and mathematically generates an idea.
Yeah. Well, you can take I thought of an idea on this on how to showcase that, and it's real easy. You can take a triangle, a square, and a circle, put them together, and if you put them again just right, all 3 points of that triangle is going to match up with the triangle and the circle. So what is it? Is it a circle? Is it a triangle? Is it a square? And that's what AI uses.
That's part of it. But furthermore, how do they intend to prove theft at all? Again, anything that the AI generates has trivial measures of any given piece of imagery in it. To say that the result is somehow illegal or a work of theft is completely unsustainable.
It is actually easier than you think because there are data points which translate. Okay, basically what AI does, it takes all its pictures, takes data points from those, deconstructs them, and rebuilds them. However, there are data points in the code that originate from pictures, correct? From other pictures. To a point.
To a point.
You can actually, on a digital level, as long as you don't save it. If you have the original will have those data points, regardless. Now, and it will still have some of those data points, even if you transfer over to, say, you change it to a GIF or a pic or a what's the other one? The what? So whatever. But if you change the file, some of those data points will still be there, and you can still tell that it's AI through those data points. So that's how they figure it out.
No,
hold up. Slow down, everybody. One person at a time, please. Oh, God. Are we done, Gemax? Yes?
Yes, I am done, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to give this...
AI, but how do you prove there's theft involved there? And how do you go, oh, well, that used 0.005% of this one image, pay me?
Well, you can prove it's that would be there. That would be exactly how you would do it.
Well,
and that 0.005 would not get anyone anything in any court of law that has ever been thus far established.
I'm not saying you can, but I'm saying I thought your question was more along the lines, how would you tell which picture? I'm just telling you it's there.
You could tell that there's some trace that it referred to this one image. Sure, but what's the point?
Let Rogue. I think Rogue's gonna give us an answer here.
Okay, so parts of your answers for both of your sides is correct, but again, when it comes down to it, the AI is actually diffusing everything and generating a brand new piece of material, brand fucking new. It's the same thing like you would do if you were a fan artist and you're taking bits and pieces and reconstructing an entire picture. That's basically what the AI is doing, programmatically speaking. It doesn't know what it's actually making. It's got parts. It's got the parts and it has an idea where those parts go. But if you actually look at a lot of the generated material currently, it has no idea where the fingers go. It has no idea how big ears should be. It doesn't even know what a nose is.
It's getting closer, though.
Yes. But yes, definitely. But as we use more of it, we're putting in more and more data points. The more data points it has, the better for it to kind of do what we do, to a point where it's going to be able to create its own pieces of work. So we're on the cusp of something that's brand new, but also something that's moving very quickly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
and this is all very interesting. By the way, I want to stress this right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know why anyone should be upset about this. This is probably the least troublesome thing AI is probably going to be used to do in the near future. This is still the fun stuff.
But
yeah, I know.
The one thing I really don't like about AI is that we call it AI. It's not really AI.
It's not AI.
No, I agree.
It's more VI, virtual intelligence.
Yeah, it's within.
But we like to call it AI because AI sounds like a new thing, and everybody calls everything they're doing AI. And I'm like, no, this is virtual intelligence. This has it has limited scopes. AI would have no limits. Virtual is we're getting me closer to AI.
Yeah, we are.
Shit out of me. But this
really
is VI, which takes counterpoints of programming from humans. AI wouldn't. So that's what always puts me.
I agree. We're just using AI as a sort of a catch-all.
It's
right now.
Well, this is a reason. Hang on, sorry, Sparky, but this is a reason why when it comes down to arguing terminologies, I always try to see if I can actually argue to get the proper terms. It's the same thing when we have generated writing bots that are available. It's most within the writing department thinks that's, that should never be used, but that's used in a lot of different things, in dictation, grammar, spell checking, and a few other different things. Yeah. So
that's VI. I mean, but that's all it is.
I think. Do we all understand what we're talking about here when we say AI? Do we want to all agree to use VI instead? Because past that, I don't think it really pays to get too bogged down in the terms.
We're gonna continue using AI, but it's
not true AI. I think we're all agreed there.
I think it's just crucial to understand that, because that's how I always start every discussion.
Yeah.
We all
agree that it's AI going for this terminology because it's a basic understanding for the average individual.
It's how we recognized to most.
Yes. But when it comes down to the argument, sorry, Sparky, when it comes down to the argument of the others who are opposing it, they're automatically going to try to lump AI as one area, and they forget the rest of it that exists within this huge accumulation of different versions of it. So it's like, guys, argue correctly, use the right terminology if you're going to go down this road, and if you want to ask the right questions. And unfortunately, most people don't even ask the right questions.
Well, so this comes down to some examples I was given. So one example that was given is a video by a person called ByCloud, and it's how AI really steals art. And I've always seen this video. Here's the problem. It's kind of misleading because it's not AI generating art. The sources he uses is programs like Image, Dreamproof, and a couple other ones, which, for all intents and purposes, let's call them what they are. They are fancy editing programs that uses AI algorithms. That's what they are. They do not generate images. That is a distinction I think everyone needs to get ingrained into their head. If they want to go, well, it's using this, it's using that, and you cite this video, the two major ones he cites is Dreamproof and TI and Image. And what those do is they take the actual image and it alters that image. It's not compiling a new image. It's not taking multiple data points from different images to create a new image.
Well,
it's editing that image.
We are not talking in binaries here.
No.
You can put an image, and have it spit out an almost identical image. Or you can put something in image, put the denoising to max, and it will basically give you an almost entirely random image. There's an entire, and this used to be a very popular term, spectrum. That is absolutely vital when it comes to determining how much of the original image remains in the result. Which raised some questions, because strictly speaking, yes, he took someone else's image, someone who you have permission to, put it in there, and then tweaked it just a little and said, okay, this is mine now. That would be a big thing to do without a doubt. But at what point along that spectrum has it been changed so much that you can claim it, or alternatively, neither of you can?
It's like taking the paint bucket and with all attributes off, hitting the paint bucket on an image and changing the color to 1 pixel.
Well, this is something that even within the industry, as in movies, the standard, and it's a guesstimation number, is greater than 25% in some cases.
I've heard 10%, I've heard 25%.
Yeah,
these programs can do both.
Yes. Yeah, and
I regularly use image to turn my 3D sculptures into photorealistic images.
Yeah, no, and that's where I kind of go for that legality portion of the argument, kind of going right now. If you put it into a movie area of terms in that, they say somewhere between 25% or greater. And again, it's an irrational number. We don't have an actual solid. This is the standard going throughout, because if you look at across the board, even when it comes down to like let's say Star Trek, how many different versions of Star Trek has there been, and where are the variations of those creations? We have those kind of terminologies existing because of stupid legalities of a company fighting over it within itself, who's going to have the rights for TV or for whatever else distribution. But beyond that, we've never really crossed that threshold. So you do you, brah. If you can find a way to copyright it, congrats. But I don't know. How many people have copyrighted or been able to copyright their Sparky? Do you have an answer?
I don't know.
See, I bet you Arcader doesn't have an answer either. So
I think anyone's likely to for a while yet. Those stats aren't going to be forthcoming anytime soon. And there's a lot of clamoring again from people who are arguing against this for government to step in and solve this problem for them. And that's the part that really annoys the hell out of me.
Oh, that part freaks me the hell out because we all know what happened when the government gets involved.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
they're going to help someone. I don't think it's going to be the small artists. In fact,
No.
I think that's one of the reasons we have to worry right now. I can't picture the politicians even pretending to give a shit about the artists who potentially, ostensibly, but not provably lost any revenue. Although they will, because that's part of where the technology is going, which, by the way, to those artists who feel threatened, now's the time to get in on learning how to use the new tool. That's the thing to take here, because this isn't going away barring a nuclear reset. And, well, if that happens, we will all have much bigger problems anyway.
Problems to deal with, yes.
Yeah. Well, it kind of stems from this. And a couple of the main arguments is the training data. And it always comes back down to training data. Now,
well, that's where the argument for theft comes in.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the whole reason why this whole Twitter spat just kind of irked me, because how it all started was me coming in and asking source. That is how this whole thing started. Source, and then I got a barrage wall of tweets. And that's all I got. A barrage wall of tweets saying AI bad, stolen art, and don't support it. But again, the arguments have always came around in circles of supporting AI, using your own training data, and then not supporting AI, and all AI bad, and then not all AI bad, and then supporting it because if you use it yourself. And it's like, in a day, let's look at it like this. Stable Diffusion is in the midst of a court case right now. And they are. With a couple different artists because stolen assets. Now,
and they're going to have a hell of a case to prove.
Well, and here's the problem. And here's what Stable Diffusion, and they put all the sources out there. It's on the website. They've talked about it. They had videos about it and stuff like that. All the stuff that they use in Stable Diffusion, it's publicly available. They are public domain assets. That is what they grab from. Now, there has been some stolen images found in their database. There have been some like legal information or stuff that's not legal in their database. Not their fault, because that stuff was out in the midst of public domain, which does happen. That is not. That is,
they said that using public domain is just fine, but how many people are going to agree upon what is thoroughly public domain? This is something that is a regular debate, even for this whole AI thing. People would use things they thought were public domain, things that were even said to be public domain, and they get sued to oblivion.
Well, this is what happens, especially if you look at sites like DeviantArt or Twitter or Facebook or Google. You post the image to those sites, it's automatically public domain. It automatically becomes Creative Commons. Automatically.
That's where the problem comes in. So if perchance the data collection is from a large source of public domain or easily available, in this case, art, image, paintings, drawings, whatever you want to call it, it's pretty much going to be hard for anybody to prove that the person who's creating this thing did this maliciously. This comes back down to what, even on our legal terminology, because I'm a Canadian, and our legal terminology for public domain has a different time frame than an American does, or hell, than somebody who is in Japan. We all have the different beliefs on when we consider something public domain.
Yeah.
So that's another factor.
And, yeah. But the main concern is like, okay, if they can prove that all the stuff that they grabbed from was in the public domain sphere, and what it picked up was also some private images and stuff like that, stuff that wasn't supposed to be on public domain, stuff that might have been copyrighted and stuff like that. How did it get there? Is it the developer, the AI that put it there? Or is it someone that put that there in public domain? Because that happens all the time. People sharing images, people posting stuff, taking screenshots. Hey, I like this image, screenshot it, put it up on Twitter, put it up on Facebook, or something like that. It happens all the time. Is that the company's fault? No. Is that the AI's fault? No, it's not. What's the proper response for this? Well, I think Stable Diffusion's response is pretty evident and pretty clear. Stable Diffusion's response is they removed it from the databases. So, again, issue came up, they dealt with it. And they dealt with it on multiple levels because, again, you're dealing with assets, you're dealing with fair use, you're dealing with all this stuff. And it always comes back down, and it always has to come back down to this legal question. Always comes back down to this. How much human intervention is needed to say a human made this, or a human intervened in making this, or something like that? So here's a couple arguments. I'm going to make some arguments for and against it. So one of the arguments is, who here has heard of Ace of Thorn?
Yeah, I have, unfortunately.
Okay, Ace of Thorn is kind of a vexatious litigant. He's last known for suing Sid Alpha and a couple other YouTubers because he had a live stream. He had a live stream that was, according to him, the software messed up. I still don't know how the software messes up at all to saw a live stream like that.
Well,
but
I all sorts of things go wrong when I attempt to stream. Mind you, I get the impression this particular technical difficulty was somehow extraordinary because occasionally audio doesn't register, the output's wrong, the input's wrong, the key is off.
So here's what it was. It was a stream that was about 2 hours long. He didn't know he was streaming. He was at his computer desk without a shirt on, and he kind of had a mental breakdown, and in the midst of it, just unbeknownstly stuff like that. He looked like an idiot, he looked like a fool. It was very embarrassing for him and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
so
that's
that's best known as user error.
Usually,
let me finish. Let me finish with this. Okay. Because it's how he argued it in court. And here's what the judge stated for that whole deal. So how he argued it was a mistake. It wasn't supposed to be a stream, and it's his copyright. He didn't initiate the stream, but it's his copyright.
Hold on. He did not initiate the stream. He might have meant to, but how did it just...
That was his argument. That was the argument he made. So what the judge came back with is, because there was no human intervention at all, the software bugged out, his own words, and the stream started running and recorded him doing this. He had no legal copyright. Now, you can use that in terms for AI because, no human intervention for AI. But the problem is, only thing Ace of Thorn had to do and say, I pushed the button on the stream. He did something. That changes the dynamic of the argument. That changes the formula on how to argue the fair use or the copyright. It all comes down to details in the situation. You cannot compare every situation to each other. It's impossible. There's no way to do it. It's all by a case-by-case basis. Talk to any copyright lawyer, they'll tell you the same thing. But since he didn't initiate the stream and it was a software issue, he has no legal grounds to copyright at all and got dismissed. So there's an argument that can be made right there for AI. No human intervention. The AI is making it. The human's not involved. But the problem is, the computer is not going to sit there and make Picasso by itself. The computer is not going to generate an image you give it by itself. The computer is not going to compilate 20 different images by itself. It has to be told to do it. There has to be a prompting to do it. Now, when it comes to that, to me, that looks like fair use. I have to initiate something for the computer to do something. So you can argue both ways on that one. The second one is the Fowler case. Fowler case is really unique. It's a case that happened in 2012, and a guy made a algorithmic program to make a background scene image. Now, a lot of people, including these people, have used that to go, well, this proves you can't get copyright on AI, so anything for copyright is invalid. Wrong. That is not what the case was about. The case was not about fair use. The case was not about transformativeness. It was not anything about that. Hell, the case wasn't even about if it was or wasn't copyright. The case was about being able to obtain a copyright for it, because the artist then went to go put a copyright on that image. And a lot of people don't understand what that means. What that means is when you put a copyright on an image, you go down to get it registered. It means you own that copyright. It means no one can use that. Well, technically no one's supposed to, but you can't use that image in something without express permission from the person or a license from that person to use that image. However, that's what people kind of conflate it's not copyright, so it's not valid. It's like, that's just to obtain copyright. And the judges even said, this is not a precedenting case, meaning this is a runoff case, meaning it's not valid for any other AI. Someone else that makes an AI generated image can go and attempt to put a copyright on it. It's not dictating that, this cannot happen. It does not set procedure. It's a one-off. That's it. And there's no telling what the argument, because this was a private, this wasn't a criminal case. This was this was a civil case. So the records aren't available. And there's no telling how it's argued. There's no telling what defenses were made or anything like that. And technically, it's not even dismissed for prejudice. So that means if the guy really wants to, he can go back and re-argue it a different way. So that's another nail in the coffin. And then the last one has to do with a chimpanzee. So,
I know this one.
Yeah, the argument is because the chimp grabbed the camera and took a selfie. The camera was not operated by a human. The chimp took it. Mm-hmm. So that means the guy did not have, and this was a case brought by PETA. Anyways, in the day, what ended up happening was the case, I think, got dismissed. Yeah. I don't remember what the outcome of that whole deal was, but it was, could a human or a non-human initiate an artistic work and then be claimed? That one's still kind of on end, but it also begs the question, what human intervention is needed to take a picture? One press of a button. That's it. So, again, it comes back down to a legal argument of how much human intervention is needed for an AI program to state that a human intervened in making it. And it goes one of two ways. If no amount of human intervention goes into an AI, and you can't claim as copyright, and then you can't claim fair use and stuff like that, you got a whole entirely different argument. Then that absolute yes or no question narrows down a lot more, because now we got a way to go with this. It's like, yeah, no, even if you do this, this, and this, it's AI art, and we don't, recognize that as human being involved in art, then you can't apply fair use. You can't apply Creative Commons. You can't apply any of this stuff. And then you have an entirely different argument. But not to that point. That's the main question that needs to be argued. For AI, does the human telling the AI what to do count for human intervention? That's the point where we need
AI
to
at all
pass.
negate the resulting artwork? That's a very question for me personally. After all, I've come to really, really enjoy some of the images I made out of my own sculptures. But an AI reinterpreted them. Does that mean that they are obligatory and always, forever, and henceforth completely uncopyrightable? To what degree do they need modified for it to be copyrightable?
Well, and see,
is there ever going to be a line there, as with Photoshop?
Well, and see, and that's another question that needs to be answered too. Okay, so if you can't, if you can't create a copyright on it, okay, so what is it? Is it public domain then, or is it theft? Because again, it
should be fair to use.
Yeah. Well, and again, that's the other question. Again, there are several factors in this whole deal to get to the end argument of should AI be used or not. There are several arguments in this whole deal, and each one of them needs to be checked off in a legal questioning in court in order to confirm safely and say, yes, it's legit. No, it's not legit. And unfortunately, we're not to that point.
Yeah, and meanwhile, that's one of the things that was really annoying me about the individual who should not be named on this. They weren't asking questions. They were making assertions and then trying to demonize you for continuing to ask questions, which I think we've all seen a lot of for this and many, many other topics.
Unfortunately, that's the beautiful thing about X, Twitter, whatever it wants to be called.
I like to call it the social media platform formerly known as Twitter. You know, like
okay, that works. That works.
Worse.
I mean, yeah, okay. It's almost on the kind of the Prince kind of thing. Got it. the artist formerly known as Prince. Oh God. Anywho, but
Barbara's Jopian is at least as steeped in hubris.
I know. Jeez, but no, the argument of party, they automatically just go onto the moral grandstanding and the assertion, the conclusion that everything that has been generated or has been collected for this data is automatically a degree of theft. No one agreed to do such a thing. It's kind of falls back on a different argument or debate that myself and Sparky were in when it came down to voice manipulation and that, because both of us play around with the AI voices and that, doing different things with it. But ultimately,
I don't do anything for artwork, so
so ultimately we have a different understanding of how the system works. And I still have the basic principles very simple. If it's been okay by the voice artist, then if the studio wants to use that particular
apply to the deceased, because I'm sorry, Frank Sinatra still knocking out of the park.
Yeah, I know.
Years after his death is something to see.
Correct. The problem comes back down to the details of the contracts that were created, and that's where future things are going to have to be taken care of. Past stuff, that's a whole different thing. That's going to be based off of the holder of that particular title or franchise or the estate or whatever going forward. That's up to them to argue for or against somebody using the likeness, the vocals, or whatever of that individual. Not up to me, unfortunately. So,
yeah, and there is that question in AI music. What Rogue's doing is just AI voices itself, and he does stuff for Metokur. And again, Metokur's okay with it. Mm-hmm. He finds it fucking hilarious, kind of ironic, but he finds it hilarious. I deal with the AI music, and both the people I use, I only use Pippa and Metokur. Both of them seem to enjoy it, and it's like, fuck, I got a 12,000 view video clip of Pippa's stream of her absolutely dying of embarrassment, exclaiming she loves this stuff. She loves the work that I've been doing, and Metokur exclaiming, "God, why does anyone want to make me sing laughing about it?"
Those are the ones you use now. I've already
Yeah,
allowed
you
to
gave me
use mine.
you gave me the okay to use your voice, and that is my stance. Other people have been just grabbing other people's voices and use them. I don't really agree with that. I've had a lot of people want me to grab Corliss's voice, and make voice actor for Corliss, seeing him do it with Pippa, because Pippa absolutely loves that guy. But it kind of falls down to he's a voice actor. Unless he gives me okay to use his voice, I'm not gonna do that, because that kind of falls into the realm of
it's terrible.
Yeah, and that's my moral stance on it. I'm not gonna tell anyone else that they can or can't do it. For me, though, that's me, and that's why a moral argument kind of holds its brakes at. Morals only go as far as the individual. Trying to put your morals on someone else is completely fucking stupid. But that's where my morals come to play, and like I said, that's for me and myself.
I have a question for at least for one of the other two that've been very quiet in this room. Dragon, what's your thought process on this kind of conversation on AI and that? I'm kind of curious.
Oh God, my head hurts from this thought process. Look, it's a tool, and I view it the same as I view a hammer.
Okay.
It's a tool to be used. Yeah, there's implications for its mimicking people's voices. I'm not touching that with a 50-foot pole, because that's how everyone uses it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a tool, so if you get butthurt someone's using a tool, and you want people to stop using the said tool, good luck. If you want legal ramifications for someone impersonating someone with a tool, that's different.
There you go. So that's from the legal minds of one novice Draconith. There you go.
That's very reasonable. And that's a lot more nuanced than the cataloging and hearing.
Yeah.
I know the implications of some of the stuff that I'm doing with music. All right. So for what I'm doing, there's two sides of that coin. So I've got the voice is being used. So I think I think that's the main hurdle I think I've already overcome, because the voice is being used. Okay with it. So they're okay with the voices being used. That hurdle overcome. The second issue is the music in question. And the only rebuttal I've got to that one is let's be universal.
Well, I've got something for you on that one, Sparky. What's the difference between your AI doing a cover of a song than a person singing the same song themselves?
The AI will probably do it much better.
Not necessarily, but that
depends.
Yeah,
Rama.
It's doing something personally. I guarantee you, I mean, street karaoke where he uses my voice to make it sing it, will probably have my voice sing it much better than.
Oh yeah, that is.
Well, because in addition to everything else, it doesn't have to screw around with an awkward cavernous echoey studio set.
True. I can actually fix that.
Yes.
Well, take it granted, I actually did a song not too long ago, Where's Joe's Mine, on my channel. And it sounds absolutely horrible, as Rogue can attest to. And then I had to put it through Fixer, and it still sounded pretty bad, but not as bad. But if you were to put that same song probably through AI, probably sound a hell of a lot better.
Probably. AI can only do so much magic. Unfortunately, the complexity of a song, the over on the reverbing and the multiple layers that we throw for a lot of the studio-based music that we listen to, will create or pose a challenge for the AI. We have to literally strip rail all of that to get to the core. So we have to get the actual raw vocals from the singer, and then start layering a lot of different things.
Well, I think you missed what I was trying to say. What's the difference with AI doing a cover, not like technical or otherwise? What's the difference in people enjoying an AI cover of a song and a person's cover of a song?
Life.
Well,
Again, that kind of comes
A
down
key
to a
thing.
legal question.
Well, not just legal question, but here's something that needs to be kept in mind. Strictly speaking, if people want to hear a person sing a song, then they want to hear the person sing the song, not the person's voice sing the song without the person. I mean, it's really amazing that Frank Sinatra's voice is continuing his career long after his death, but I think most people would rather prefer hearing his original recordings.
Yeah. So, and
Which I have quite a few of.
yeah, and along with some of the stuff I use, like I said, a lot of times what ends up happening is I end up mashing different vocals together to get a rendition of a song. And that's the only way to get it because of how the AI follows the voice along with the vocals. You can't vote them completely unless you have somebody else sing the song and then cover over that person's voice. I've tried it myself. My voice sucks and it makes the AI sounds incredibly taunted. So I'm out by fault on that one.
Mhm.
But if someone wanted to sing over the song and then put the voice on it, it's the same as a karaoke. Now it kind of comes down to the question of, okay, what about the people singing that song? I'll put that up here in a minute, Jim Max. But what about the people singing the song? Like the singers for A Whole New World or Beauty and the Beast or Ghosts Want to Have Fun or Part of Your World. What about them? And it's like, again, at the end of the day, you can look on YouTube and there's many different versions of the song. There's many different vocals of the song. There's many different karaoke's of the song. And there's also mashups of the song. So it really kind of falls down to that legal question. And again, this is what the gray area I'm messing with and I'm looking at it. To me, I look at that as kind of like a karaoke. I'm also giving credit to the songs that I've ripped from. So of course, you hear A Whole New World, it's A Whole New World, sung by these singers. The karaoke's I use, same thing. It's these songs by these people with this voiceover it. Usually with a link to the song to go back to it. So I do my due diligence to try to give credit to those songs. Have I put myself in an area where I could be hit legally? Yes, I have put myself in an area where I could be hit legally. Do I think it's going to happen? No, I don't think it's going to happen. Do I have an argument against it? Yes, I do have an argument against it. Do the people coming at it might have a counter argument that may or may not be better than mine? Yes. Again, it's a legal question. This is the gray area. This is what fair use is. This is the exact same thing Sargon of Akkad had to deal with Aquila Hughes. So
Actually,
that's a really
that bothers me. They've got a bunch of people ready to attack fair use who don't grasp in the slightest how badly that would affect them.
Yeah, because again, where does it stop? Where does it stop? Okay, we attack AI. Well, AI is technically a tool being used. Okay, what's next? Photoshop? Photo editor? Snapchat?
Basically, we can attack every tool within an artist's toolbook currently that isn't pen and paper.
Using these arguments. And that's the point. You have to narrow the argument. And the argument is it's AI, it's not human. Well, no, because the AI can only do it by input, what data is input into it and then a human telling it what to do. So there's that input from a human. So again, legal area.
Yeah.
And two other things that got brought up. It's like, the percentages used in things for fair use. Now, it's a misnomer and it's a guideline. And everyone wants to point to that 10%. No. That 10% is a factor.
Yeah, I've kind of made that part of the equation when it comes down to the entertainment industry. We don't have an actual set guidelines. It's a guesstimation of 25%. Could be 21%. Could be 2%. It may not be original at all.
The factor falls on if nothing else within those criteria is a fair use, and there's 4 of them. If nothing else within those criteria can get to a point, then that's what it can fall back down to. How much of the material is used? Because here's the problem. So I got up a call and Killer used this video. And they actually cleverly kind of made my point too. And it's like his video was about 20 to 30% of the walk. Oh, well, it was considered a parody. Right. Negating the 10% factor. Guideline. Reference. It's part of a calculation. Again, case by case basis. You cannot point at something and go, well, this applies for all these other things. You can't do that. It's case by case basis. So, example, Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
Yeah, that's a good example.
It's a parody that uses 100%. Well, it's clipped up here and there to make the storyline a little bit better, but it damn near uses all the material from all the episodes in Dragon Ball Z Abridged. The only differences are the voice acting and sound effects. That's it. And maybe some thrown in random stuff here and there, like with the solar flare stuff that happens. But that's it. Does the 10% factor fall in that one?
No, that is very interesting there, Arcader.
Well, this was made from a photo of a jack-o'-lantern taken with some other props, then run through image to image.
Yeah, it's actually,
it is very close to the photo in some ways, and also very different from the photo in some ways. And I would be very interested in knowing exactly how much of this would be deemed theft.
Yeah, no, we're never going to get to that level. I mean, we've already had, because we've already had this argument somewhat within the entertainment industry. How much is it individual works? How much is it theft or kept by that original IP holder? And again, it was a random number that I've already mentioned. And again, it doesn't always equate by every case scenario. Same thing with your art there that you have that is generated. It would fall under the same kind of pretense. We would have to.
But is it based on a photo that I took? No less.
Yeah, no, I know. So that's basically the paramount argument that you're facing right there. That's basically the two holders of the same bloody franchise fought with each other to a point where they just came down to this arbitrary number of 25% different. Same company, same people, same organization fighting over an IP. It'd be you fighting over yourself for this image. So
I don't think I'm going to bother with that. Quite frankly, I think everyone would do better. Just relax and enjoy the fun stuff while the other shoe waits to drop.
I mean, I'm intrigued with where we are currently with AI in general. People say it's just a snap of a button. You just press that button and it just makes art magically. And
that is, I see where they're coming from. That I do. It does make things a lot easier, and a lot of artists are really upset about that because they work so much harder on their own work, which is understandable to a degree. But strictly speaking, the skills they develop are still useful in this context, especially where they hone their skills in digital painting and Photoshop, because things like this are not really the new endpoint. This is the new starting point. The new endpoint is not clear, but the new starting point is here.
Correct. And if you go with the commercial usage of let's say Night Cafe or whatever, unless you have an actual piece of work to insert it into the program, you're now using prompts and a style of work in order to generate that material. And it's a hit and miss in some cases. So it isn't as easy as many think it is. We still have a lot of learning for this particular tool to get better. Like I'm still learning a lot of the different prompts. Prompting is a new form of job, apparently. It's a new form of engineering.
Yeah. And it comes down to it like this too. If prompting is becoming a new job and it's actually being faceted out and stuff like that, that means they're looking at this as has human intervention.
Yeah.
So if prompting is considered human intervention in AI, that's the fair use.
It's
And all
at
the
least
arguments
difficult as
are moot.
pressing the button on a camera shutter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and there's arguments like you made is camera is not AI and stuff like that. Hang on. If you just go down to the bare minimums and we use digital cameras, I'm not talking about like Polaroids or anything like that, but if we use digital cameras, it doesn't matter. You can take an image randomly. Hell, it could be you're flailing the camera around and accidentally hit the camera and you get some sort of cool shot. You still hit the deal. You wasn't doing anything.
Yours.
You haven't done anything, photogenic. You haven't done anything awe-inspiring. You just waved the fucking camera around, hit the button, and you came up with a really cool image. You can still copyright that. It happens all the time. Actually, example, you've seen the paintings where people take the paint buckets and just throw them on a canvas. There you go.
Yes, that's one of the things I've been laughing about too. All this AI art, this can't be art, but a banana duct taped to a fucking wall is.
Yeah, that's where one of my arguments was going to go to. Is like really, because I find current artists very pretentious. Because it all stemmed for me when because again I'm an artist background kind of thing, but I've moved on and did other things. I use art as a hobby, but the biggest clincher for me was this 8-year-old whose parents were pretty much not gonna say art enthusiasts, but they were part of the art industry itself. They had the own ability to critique and curtail all different types of arts and that. But they were able to push their daughter at the age of 8 to be this magnificent artist off of very questionable art. And I'm like going, so all it takes is you to know somebody within the arts field to be able to become this grand artist that it is. And you could start as early as 2, apparently.
But yeah, it comes down to yeah. It comes
like
down to
artists
go ahead.
Child beauty pageants. There's
Yeah,
Squippy that the kid actually chose that.
Yeah, it is very weird. It's like, don't know. It's questionable. I don't see them actually wanting to become like another, pageant person.
Now, again, what kind of comes down to it is like, what determines human intervention and all that good stuff. And like I said, going back to the reference of the digital camera, you hit a button. What happens? Well, it's not like the image is in cyberspace exactly as is and stored, in the hard drive as the image itself of that camera. That's not how it works. It's translated down to digital data, ones and zeros in the base binary form for machine code. There's different ways that you can interpret it. There's different ways that you can view it. Hex, binary, digital code. There's numbers of ways that you can do it.
Remember the old-fashioned static that most of us got to see on the television?
Yes.
That's basically
well, now I feel old.
I know, right? Sorry.
Fish, that's greeting, gents. Thank you.
But that's basically what the computer or the algorithm is seeing. It's seeing the snow up on the screen and kind of going, hey, what we got here? Tell me what we got here.
Yeah, it's waiting for a digital, a signal, analog, digital, whatever, to come in to put on that screen. Now, at the end of the day, you hit a button and the camera generated a bunch of binary numbers to represent the landscape or whatever the shutter was pointing towards. What's the difference in that in digital AI?
The AI didn't have vision. It didn't see something it really wanted to capture. The camera, likewise, had absolutely no idea, and none of them could have generated anything without a human there to press the button.
Yeah, and that is my crux argument to this whole deal. That is the number one question that needs answered, and it does need answered.
Yeah, and that's kind of comes back down to the legalities of it. Is how much is it for it to be considered, copyrightable or continuing to be processed the way it is? Because we have, like I said, we haven't even touched it, but people are automatically going into the moral standards and just saying AI bad without even understanding what it is or how it got there.
It's even worse than saying just AI bad. Again, this happened just today. They go beyond that to say that, well, this is theft. So if you use anything vaguely related to it, it is also theft, and you're a thief, and therefore a terrible monster. So you should agree with me,
And
or else you're a just super stinky bad person.
After straw manning, still meaning the entire argument and reasoning right around, say, well, I'm not gonna judge you for your standards and stuff like that, and that's not what I'm trying to do, and then turn around and automatically do that right afterwards. Whenever I gave them my answer, that's pretty much precisely what I said. Is like, if you can point to me a program that is actually doing this, I'm not talking about by end user, because the distinction is, like I said, with one of the damn programs that's being used that they reference for skimming data and stuff like that. One of them is Lensa AI, and one of the articles is covering Lensa AI on how you can look at it and replicate it, and it's just copying the image and stuff like that, and that way AI is just copying verbatim for the image. It's like Lensa AI's actual website on the app says Lensa AI app, many cool and unique features such as AI powered auto tune, one click beautifying, DIY face filter, wise color tone, vibrant frames and much more. With Lensa's powerful AI tools, you can easily enhance your photos and videos to make them look professional, and it allows you to create fantastic photo stories and share them with friends and family. With Lensa, you can make your photos and videos look better. And a lot of people are pointing to this and the fact that somebody used this app, a end user used this app, grabbed someone else's artwork, put it into this app, changed some things, put it out there, and tried claiming it as their own. AI is stealing data. AI is copying images. All AI is bad. That is the most disingenuous fucking arguments I have ever heard in my life. It says it on the goddamn website. It is a photo editor. It is not a AI generator.
Yep. That was a case of bad use, which, if you'll forgive a tangent, there's something that has been bothering me that falls in the topic of what is not true AI being used for a way that I personally find rather disturbing. Have you heard about the new digital camera you can get that has a AI editor built into it, so that you can take pictures of your miserable family and then just paint smiles on them afterwards?
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah.
You can do that with your cell phone.
Yeah. That's part of
that bugs me. That's pretty fucking twisted.
I know, but that's part of the actual new equipment for a hand camera.
No one is ever miserable ever again.
Yeah, so you get these automatic filters put into these hand cameras that are digital cameras, and I'm like wow, we've progressed to a point where going from just phone filters to now putting them as applications inside a digital camera.
That begs the question.
Lying to themselves.
That begs another legal question that kind of comes back into this whole frame. If the argument is, if it's using AI, you cannot claim it. Does that mean using an AI filter on your phone, you take a picture, can you claim that?
Well, that's a good question. I can't give you a yes or no. There's, I don't know. I don't know the legal portions of it. You can claim it as an individual if you wish to. Can you sell it? I don't know.
Would they claim theft because the program might have seen someone else smile once?
Yeah.
Well, and that also begs the question, and it also kind of comes down to, again, permission of artists and stuff like that. Again, now we got to shift over into like some bad uses that you can, like actually painting AI in a bad way now. And we're going to make that argument, all of us, because I think we can all make some really good arguments for it. But it kind of comes back down to, everyone says stealing. It's stealing. Oh, fair use is not a thing. Oh, well, it's copyrighted, so fair use is not a fact. Bullshit. The first thing it says in fair use, did they recommend you get the permission from the artist? Yes. Did they recommend you get a license? Yes. They recommend all, going through all the little steps and stuff like that. Yes.
I know of a case that happened. I believe this was in Canada, and Rogue might know it. There was an artist who copied a famous painter's painting and then sold them. He sold them as his own, and he sold them as copies. And he said they were like for like. He just painted them and said, this was my copy of this. And the painter tried to sue the guy who copied his artwork. And here was the thing. It went up in front of the judge, and the judge said they're exactly the same except for the brush strokes. And it was different enough to where there was no copyright infringement.
Yeah. But it also kind of comes down to the matter of, again, the human element, is that a factor or not? That's always got to be the one it comes back to. So I don't want people to forget that one.
Yeah, hold up, Sparky. If we're going to go into the negativity of AI, that all stems down to the data that it's been given. So it comes back down to the end user providing the data to generate its AI. That's why there's different areas of this generation or general creative plot. You have something that's private marketed and then something that's publicly marketed. And if you can show me in the public market where they're utilizing illegal or, not copyrightable material, by all means, point it out.
And again, he's quite right. It's how it's used. The AI itself, there's been compared to so many things, and so stupidly, guns being one of them. Being that, namely, guns don't kill people, people kill people, because obviously do with guns, and when they don't have guns, they use something else entirely. If there are no guns available, they get creative. But that's neither here nor there. If we're worried about AI, it's how the AI is used, not the AI itself. And there is already, in my opinion, an effort to conflate the use of AI with AI itself. For instance, there's an article recently where someone was bragging about how Satoshi of Bitcoin fame had been identified. They tracked him down, and AI did it. No, an AI didn't do it. An AI was used to do it. And that is a pretty shitty way to use it. Mind you, I was very pleased to find out that when I put my own face in the program, it couldn't find me. I'm doing something right.
See, there you go.
But again, it really comes down to, it really depends on what AI is being used and how it's being used. Again, this is why I hate the argument, this AI has this data in it, so all AI does this. Again, disingenuous argument, because not all AI are like that. When you get into the actual Stable Diffusion, there's a multitude of things. It's trained on publicly available data. It's trained on publicly available assets. Now, again, it's already came out. They've already took care of it. They're dealing with all the claims that came out and stuff like that. Private information, private data, all this other good stuff within Stable Diffusion. They've got rid of it because they don't want it. They want publicly available assets. So they've been dealing with it as it comes up. So
let's say they did delete it from their models. There are many checkpoints out there that have been trained and retrained in a million different ways by a million different people.
Yeah, and it really depends on the AI program. Because, like I said, I always go back to Stable Diffusion because I trust them a little bit more than other programs. But a lot of it deals with you putting your own images within it. So if the end user takes a copyrighted work or something else like that, another artist's work without the permission and puts it in there, and does the minimum list of prompts possible, or uses one of these AI filter editors, and they put as minimum prompts in it too, I don't call that AI art. I call that shitty editing. And yes, call that out. I'm not saying that's right. That's not right. But again, it's not an AI issue. It's an end user issue. It's the end user that used it.
Yes.
Just because an end user abused this one program, does that mean I am now barred from using this program? No. That's the same stupid argument as going, well, guns kill people and you shouldn't use a gun. It's that same argument.
That reminds me of something else that was said over the course of the really silly argument on the
the stupid automobile ones, and it's like that made absolutely no fucking sense.
Yeah, no, I wasn't even thinking about that one, but oh boy, that one was a whiffer too. You wouldn't steal an automobile, would you steal an automobile?
I don't know where that begins.
I have the perfect video for that. You wouldn't steal a police captain's hat. You wouldn't shoot a police captain, then shoot and then steal his hat, then take a dump in his hat, then send it to his grieving widow, and then steal it again.
His argument was that it was comparable. Using Stable Diffusion to create an image was like buying a stolen car that you know is stolen. And no. If you want to get it, that's a terrible comparison. But if you want to get it closer, you basically asked a machine for a car, and it built a car out of maybe quarter-inch segments of steel stolen from 30 million other cars. Only you didn't pay the machine for it, you only asked for it, and everyone's cars were actually untouched and perfectly safe at home.
Yeah.
Well, the comparison I found to it was this. If that's the comparison you got to make, you got to treat the car as AI. He's wanting to treat the car as artwork. You can't treat the car as artwork because... How many 2001 purple Ford Fusions are out there in the world?
Not as many as you think.
But a lot.
About a few.
You seem to think that every image somehow contained the entire AI within it.
Yeah, I know, right?
So the argument is trying to use the car as a stolen artwork. And it's like that's
terrible.
It's like that makes absolutely no sense at all. It makes sense if you go, the manufacturer is the programmer, the car is the AI, the person stealing the car is the person abusing the AI, and you receiving the car. Well, it makes no sense because you're not receiving the program from them. You're not even receiving anything from them. You could receive stolen artwork, and at the end of the day, it kind of comes back down to that is also a legal question, because if you don't know it's stolen, what do you do?
Because is it stolen when the image you got was entirely unique, but just generated from referencing some art, which is what we're really talking about here. I have to say, though, Carlos made a comment in chat that
I see it.
I wanted to reference mostly because I'm enraged to be reminded about what they've done to X-Men.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Why?
I mean, when the first time the X-Men have gone off the rails in a lot of ways.
I know, right? They're getting the mutant, not the, what is it? Really? Dude, it's just accepted for what it is. It's just artists that don't understand the actual source material, and they're just coming up with something very creative.
It feels very good to condemn those thieves.
I know, you're welcome, by the way. For anybody who's laughing their ass off, you're welcome.
Oh, Jesus Christ, it actually works.
It does. This was a picture Sparky told me to make last week for him, and I forgot all about it until now. We started talking about the AR, and it's like, I have to make this, so I made this while we were talking.
Yeah,
doesn't take much effort.
References is me making Pipkin.
Yes. Oh, God.
I'm putting down on Twitter and type Pippa in it. So,
but impacts.
You just lost yourself. Sparky,
I do a lot of
into a lot of drama. I love it.
I do a lot of weird stuff.
The Pippa drama, you're going to get a tea kettle, and if you have the people demanding more pieces of work, and
that's not even drama. That's just people is like, we want this, we want this, we want this. It's like, I'm only one person.
I'd actually have to say that's better than my genie stuff I did not too long ago.
Yes, it was.
This is pretty good too,
but yeah, it all comes down to end user. So, if I use Stable Diffusion,
X-Men, they were always all humans. They were just some humans who could shoot lasers out their ass or something.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's like, should I be punished because somebody misuses a program? There's very nefarious things you can do with Photoshop. There's very nefarious things you can do with a gun. There's
wait. Nefarious things to do with Photoshop. What have you been looking there, Sparky?
What Jim-X been doing?
Oh, jeez.
No, I mean, we don't talk about the pictures that I've made of Biden and his brother.
Yeah, that's not
in bed.
what you
We don't
got
talk
there is
about
not
that.
what you got there is not all that nefarious. I mean, I'm thinking about something a little bit more life changing.
Like I said, like the pictures of Biden and his brother in bed together.
Yeah.
I mean, they're real. No, I'm just kidding.
Look, considering as
next
much shit
picture.
was on that laptop, I wouldn't necessarily presume it false, which is, by the way, something we all have to look forward to in the future.
I know,
Oh,
right?
Soon, you can't believe your eyes either.
Oh God! Don't even get me started on that. I've actually seen a lot of that shit. Oh, I wish I hadn't. I wish I hadn't.
The only thing I can say what is going to be ultimately bad or bad usage of AI is all the fake material that is going to be generated even more so than what we have at the earlier stages of fake shit. Have you seen the Joe Rogan ads that exist out there off of the fake
Joe Rogan ads?
Yes, where he's pimping certain weight loss pills, penis enlargement pills, and a few other different things.
No, this is news to me.
Wow, you
I've seen them and I've laughed my ass. It's like Joe Rogan doesn't do that, but that's hilarious.
But yeah,
Excuse me, although I have seen plenty of edits where he's interviewing himself in assorted novelties.
Jesus Christ.
yes,
Yeah.
see, there you go.
I like I said, it's going to be interesting when AI, virtual intelligent videos
Yes.
come about because nobody's safe.
No.
Nobody.
And this is not the best time for us to hit this point because times have been getting so bitterly interesting, even without all this.
I mean,
I
well,
know.
look at Hassan. Hassan is claiming,
The
well,
world's
all
on
these-
fire?
The world's always on fire. It's just, it all depends on how large the actual flame is.
Well, Hassan,
Yeah.
like, was it Israel's claiming they found babies with their heads decapitated on Hassan? Hassan saying that's AI or faked, and it's like
I've heard it debunked. I've heard it reported.
I've heard it.
confirmed.
I've
I'm
heard
sure
it.
there are some dead babies, but I'm also pretty sure that if they're giving the okay to just level all of Gaza, there's going to be a lot more dead babies inescapably.
And I don't care. So I mean, honestly, they're innocent. I get
That's
it.
You're talking about, and it's the same as anywhere else.
Yes.
You're not just going to kill the bad guys if you glass the whole area. Mind you,
I'm
I'm not saying we should get involved, far be it from that. No.
here's the thing.
I don't want to get involved in that because that's a bloody sticky mess.
We are already
They're gonna have
involved,
to sort out for
unfortunately.
themselves.
Okay.
It's spilling over
Why can't
into
we just-
here.
Why can't we just have a popcorn and just watch?
The populations over here.
I agree with
are
you
spilling over
there.
here.
I agree with you there, Dragon, popcorn, and watching. But here's the problem when it comes back down to the whole Hamas kind of thing. This became an issue the moment just after World War II was completed, and we made the Nation League, and then we called it the UN afterwards. And then just got involved in all this kind of crazy shenanigans from that point on.
I knew I should have stopped it, but I wasn't born yet, so God.
I know, right? So we were doomed for this to happen, regardless going forward. But
It's like,
the
hey,
more
let's-
money we put into it, the weirder the outcome it becomes.
Hey,
It
World War
seems like
II's
the
over.
general result is more money pumped into it, the worse it all gets.
Yes, I agree with that.
Let's just say, hey, World War II's over. What are we going to do with all these Jews? Let's give them their own place. Oh, yeah, this is going to work out so well. I mean, nothing could possibly happen than putting them in between every single Muslim culture there is. I mean, come on. Nothing could possibly happen here.
What's going on here?
I don't know what is going on over there, Dragon.
I'm
curious.
looking at something.
Is it something related
But
to the
anyways-
conversation, or is it something completely?
No, me staring at something, going, "Ooh, shiny."
Well, okay.
That makes sense. But
I'm like that with boobs, so just anyhow.
But anyways, it's like I think using AI haphazard and slackingly is going to be one of those things you always got to look at and go, it's wrong for people to just willy-nilly use any kind of editor, AI or not, and claim it as their own.
shit, Biden just confirmed what I was talking about earlier.
Oh God.
Do I even want to know? I increasingly have to ask
Yeah,
myself
he has
this
a
question.
video. He did a video today.
I don't know if I want to know about this video. It's one of those things.
Well, he put it out there, the dumbass. So there you go.
Oh, God.
Look, someone let him off. Someone let his handler. Someone go find the handler.
It's possible he wandered onto stage.
He needs an adult.
He needs 2 adults.
He needs adult
I'm pretty sure he has
depends.
at least 5. They're just shy of pulling strings.
He needs adult diapers. Let's be honest.
Well,
I-
I'm pretty sure he
I
already
think-
has those.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I think the 5
I think,
adults assigned to
After a Pope
him.
incident, I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it sounds like the 5 adults you mentioned that are watching him. The first one for a coffee break didn't tell the second one. So the second one for coffee break. So the third one went to coffee break. They all went to coffee break, not realizing no one's watching him.
And alternatively, I understand he's incredibly unpleasant to deal with when the cameras are off anyway, so it could be they just said, fuck it.
I would agree with that part. Yes.
You know what? If he's horribly unpleasant, I think I'd say fuck it too. Just be like, look, where's he at? I don't know. He wouldn't stop screaming, so I let him go.
Ooh, the WTC
Look.
Memorial, a man fell in today.
There is a
Okay.
compile that you can compile
Oh, shit.
a feature-length movie out of his career of telling the truth despite himself and just millions upon millions of gaffes. Robin Williams did skits on how poorly he conveyed himself,
Yes.
and he's only gotten worse.
Yeah, and he was a vice president during for those skits too. Jesus fucking Christ.
And the people decided we needed him to lead.
I
Yeah,
just
the
try to
powers
console
that be.
myself by thinking that yes, things look like shit right now, but this doesn't mean it was any less shit in the past. It just means it was better hidden.
Yes,
Maybe.
I totally agree. But when it comes down to that kind of crazy shenanigans, but I mean, me being the autistic cousin to the north by some, I just enjoy watching the shit show that is continental United States at the moment. Like, wow, and then
Or
somehow
some just
we
the
get drug
arrest.
in. Like, shit.
I
We
mean,
were doing
Canada's
so
been run by
good.
Castor's Bastard. The UK
Yeah, I
has
know,
a
right?
license for everything.
Yes. I find that hilarious, by the way.
Mm.
Oh God.
Oh, and let's not forget, of course, standing ovations for one of the few surviving actual Nazis.
Yes, that was brilliant. That was completely brilliant. And then he got a scapegoat for the Speaker of the House. So to jump on the knife. He was a liberal anyway, so he was going to do it. So
Gotta love when the few of them pop out of the woodworks, and you're like, oh, they are real.
yeah, pretty much. Pretty
No,
much.
we already know they objectively were real, are real, and some might still be alive, like the one
Yes.
I'll give standing applause to. See, the people who actually stupidly, blindly stand up as directed to applaud, those are the assholes I'm more concerned about turning into the next generation.
Yeah.
And they are
Fair.
not on the side of the political spectrum we're told they are.
No. That is. But yeah, that's where we're at the moment when it comes down to our lovely political
Shit show.
Yeah.
Time to stop getting interesting challenge. Impossible.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna head out. I have got to acquire things for animals that are clawing at me.
Okay. You go feed the questionables.
I'm
I
going
should probably depart as well. I've recently upgraded my system and I'm aggressively rebuilding my sets with it and trying to come up with some new ideas for the future. And this has been a lovely break. But
Yes.
I should get back to it. Thank you for inviting me, Sparky.
Before you leave, before both of you leaves, I think we all can kind of agree is like there needs to be more of a legal standard for AI. AI needs to be used responsibly, and for actions of end users should not be put onto AI. I think those are things that we can all agree on, and going forward. I mean, again,
Close enough.
we can We can make as many arguments as we want. Again, that's just armchair lawyering. We can't. There's no telling what a judge is going to say. There's no telling what a jury is going to say, and there's no telling what arguments the lawyer is going to present.
There's also telling if the law standards established will actually be worth anything either.
Or if they'll be umbrella. I mean, you could have a state or country differential on the AI per system.
Yes, and that's where the same thing we're seeing with copyright laws, and that we have different points of views going forward, and what is acceptable and what isn't. So until there's further grounds, proper legalities going forward, and understanding the terminology, as well as the monster in question that's being produced,
how it works.
Yeah, we're always going to be in this gray area. You know what you need there, Arcater, is I don't know, something a little bit more jiggly, like slime or something.
I'll keep that in mind.
I'll just generate some slime, put it in your hands. There you go.
That's kind of cool.
It is very
for
good.
a new photo.
So there you go.
That is right out.
I know. So let's if we're wrapping this one up, let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah. So
I'll catch you later.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you again for inviting me. This has been a very pleasant chat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much a stark contrast from most. Period.
More? Should we invite more screaming and hollering next time?
Should I bring in my Twitter?
We'd have to
personas?
invite Penn then.
She had the link. Link.
Yeah, she did have the link.
But you know, it's like in the story. It's like, yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say on the whole deal. And yeah, just I hate arguments that resolved in fucking ad hom attacks. It's stupid. Attack the issue, attack the problem, not the person.
People in these conversations, typically they're not in there to resolve or learn or question anything. They're there to win and feel like a saint.
Yeah, I know, right?
He's got it to head on. Their goal is to make you look like the villain.
Yeah, but what's that old saying? One man's villain is another man's hero. I feel like I've heard that from somewhere. Don't know where.
Yeah, I don't know. So with that, thank you all, and have a good night. This video will probably get a little bit more views once I stop streaming. I don't know why the streaming of my videos, unless I like put Pippa or something in the stream, yeah, people don't come to it. And it's like, well,
it's
not
fine.
Pippa,
Just hit the button and
close the door.
Yeah.
Later, guys.
Close the doors. Jesus Christ.
That is